Welcome to What a Creep, the show with Margot Donohue and Sonia Mansfield, talking about creeps from the past to the present.
This is your quick guide to the biggest creeps, jerks, assholes, and losers, the best of the worst.
From two nice ladies who want the world to be a little less creepy.
Welcome back to What a Creep. This is Margot Donohue, and my cohort in creepitude, as always, is the amazing Sonia Mansfield. Hey, Sonia.
Hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend. Our creep today is fashionably creepy, is he not?
He is. We're going to make it work. Oh, that makes it sound like it's Tim Gunn. It's not Tim Gunn.
He would have been a perfect non-creep. Next time.
Okay.
If you're new to this show, we talk about creeps from the past to the present, and we always end the show with somebody who's not a creep. So you feel a little bit uplifted. And we were just saying, let me just say this. You can reach out to us on social media because we're always looking for ideas for creeps and for non-creeps. We have a basic Facebook page, but that's where people go to complain about our language. This is your warning if you have kids in the car or whatever. We use salty language in this program, and no, we're not changing.
Yeah, shit, fuck, damn.
We're the most interactive in our private Facebook group. You type in What a Creep Podcast Group. You do have to answer the 3 questions. Do the best you can, but please just promise not to be an asshole, and you can come on in. We're also on Creep Pod on Twitter because somebody had What a Creep for over 10 years and never used it.
Creep.
And then on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky, we're at What a Creep Podcast, and our old-timey email, whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com. And if you would like some stickers, please send me your address, and I will drop them in the mail for you.
She'll do it.
I'll do it. Just dare me. Double dog dare me.
You're so nice.
Sonia.
Yeah.
Tell them about the website. They're dying to hear from you.
Oh, okay. It's at whatacreeppodcast.com, and it's everything you want to know about our show, but we're afraid to ask. We have links to all of our past episodes, and if you click in, it's like a little blog post, and it has our show notes. And in that are sources, because we source everything we do. We're not making this stuff up. We want to give people the credit for doing the good work that they do. So if you're looking for a deeper dive, go there. That's a great place to start. We also have a link to our Substack, and we have a link to our merch shop where you could get t-shirts and tote bags and posters and journals and all kinds of cool stuff. Do it. And there's our Patreon page. You want to tell them about that, Margot?
Yes, Patreon. Look up What a Creep Podcast. We use the funds just to do things like pay the journalists, the journalism that we sign up for. Like Sonia says, we don't make this shit up. And just for the basic costs of the show.
Yeah.
We want to thank all of you that support us there. If you're interested, on Patreon, we put out 2 bonus episodes a month, sometimes in the first week and the last week of the month, which is going to be the case this month. But also, the first 8 seasons of the show are on that Patreon wall, right?
Yes.
We do at least 10 shows a season, so you do the math.
Damn.
I think that's like 500.
We're busy.
Yeah. So anyway, that's where, if you want to support us there, that would be amazing. We'd really appreciate it. Another way you can support us is, seriously, just leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. I found out on Spotify, like 4 of you left reviews, and I thank you so much. And
thank you.
Sonia can't see it because it's done through my email, but somebody actually said you and I are on the verge of being the Adele disease because we mispronounce Kanye and Aziz Ansari. But look, y'all, we're fly-by-night operation here. We'll do the best we can, but we make no promises.
Look, I'm doing the best I can, and sometimes my best is not good enough.
Just isn't good enough. Just once. Can we make it? All right, I won't swing anymore. Sing anymore. It's Friday. We're loopy as shit today.
Yeah, we are.
Fashionably loopy. Sonia.
Yes.
Who is our creep?
We are going to be talking about Karl Lagerfeld.
Heard of him. Can't afford his stuff.
Yeah, same. I'm just going to be referring to him as Karl the whole time because he would have hated that.
Is that from The Walking Dead?
Yes. Karl. And just heads up, everybody, my knowledge of fashion is all of it comes from MTV's House of Style from the 90s and a few seasons of Project Runway. So if you're looking for like a deep dive and an analysis of like his impact in the fashion world, this probably isn't the right episode for you. But if, I will give you a little history, but we're just going to talk about what a creepy is.
And he's your basic asshole, right? We were saying this off the air. Right. It's nothing too terrible. Some of them are intense and some of them are just frothy.
Yeah, he just says shitty stuff. So, sources for this episode: AP News, The Business of Fashion. I also put in his cat's Instagram just for fun.
Well,
just for fun. There's no creepy,
shit, you know me.
No creepy content there. I just thought, it's a very cute cat. The Daily Beast, The Guardian, Jezebel Times, a bunch of New York Times articles. Time, Yahoo News, Your Tango, which is like a gossipy site.
The best astrology is on Your Tango, by the way.
Oh, there you go. It's such a good site. Ooh. And then, of course, Wikipedia. Our man Karl was a fashion designer best known for heading Chanel for over 30 years. He also designed at Fendi, and he had his own label under his name.
We also, by the way, we covered Coco Chanel, but I think that's on the Patreon wall. So,
okay, good to know, because I'm not going to get into that stuff. So,
yeah,
it's not about her. He was one of the first fashion designers to like channel their leadership into being a public figure. He developed this image of himself as like the Kaiser, quote unquote, and he was like this too cool snob. Dark sunglasses, fingerless gloves, a ponytail, like that just got him like so much attention wherever he went in the fashion circles. And he was a big deal. Like celebrities worked with him. He totally redid Chanel and made it cool and hip. And when he died, the New York Times wrote 6 different stories about him throughout the year. I counted. Like they could not stop writing about him. So, he may be a fashion icon, but our man Karl was also fatphobic, racist, and misogynistic. He was a creep. So let's start at the beginning. Karl Otto Lagerfeld was born in Hamburg, Germany, September 10th, 1933. Maybe. For years, claimed he was born in 1938. Then he wrote a diet book, because of course he did. And he said he was born in 1936.
Okay.
Then years later, he was like, no, I was born in 1935. To throw people. Yeah.
As a lady of a certain age, I kind of get it. I'm not going to. It's a mystery.
He would also like. He was never like, he would throw like, so in 2008, he's like, I'm 70. And he threw a birthday party for himself. And then 4 years later, he's like, I'm 79. Threw a birthday party for himself.
That's hilarious.
He doesn't give a fuck. He's whatever age he wants to be, I guess. A German newspaper eventually found his baptism record, and it was 1933. So that's the one people are going by.
Yeah.
Yes. According to him, and by the way, he has all kinds of lore. Like you could take what he says with a gigantic grain of salt. According to him, he was raised in a castle in North Germany. He was the heir to like a milk fortune. He is surrounded by like
cows.
Yeah, he's surrounded by like a fleet of Russian and Polish servants. But in reality, like the castle was like a middle-class home where they were plagued by wartime food shortages, just like everybody else. He has all kinds of outlandish stories about his childhood. He tells the story about, he says, when I was 14, I wanted to smoke because my mother smoked. But my mother said, you shouldn't smoke. Your hands are not beautiful. And that would show, and it would show when you smoke.
Oh, that's why he did the fingerless gloves.
Yes.
Yeah, Madonna does the same thing because she's very self-conscious of her hands.
Yes.
That's an asshole mother remark, by the way.
Yeah, right. He has all kinds of stories about her. He also said that when you talk to her and she asked a question, you had to answer quickly and you had to be funny. And if you thought of an answer 10 minutes later, she would slap him. That's what he says.
Achtung!
Yes. If it's true, who knows? He went to Paris as a teenager. He didn't go to like an art school or fashion school or anything like that, but he did enter a fashion competition, and he won like the prize for like best coat or whatever. And actually,
best lederhosen.
Best lederhosen. Yves, was it Yves Saint Laurent? Did I pronounce that right?
Laurent.
Yeah.
Yves.
Okay. He also won like in the dress category that same year. Apparently, they had quite the competition. Yeah. From there, he was hired at various like couture fashion houses. I'm not going to list them all because whatever. But he left them in the 60s. He started a freelance career where he was looking to get into like more like still do couture, but also ready to wear, which was like very in vogue in the 60s. So he went to Fendi, he went to Chloe, and then he ended up at Chanel, and that's where he really made his mark. And he worked with all the very famous supermodels, the Linda Evangelistas, the Claudia Schifers, the Christy Turlingtons. He teamed up with director Baz Luhrmann and Nicole Kidman and made like short promotional films to promote Chanel. He did all kinds of other movies with like Kristen Stewart and singer Pharrell Williams and, promoting Chanel. And he made Chanel very, very cool. And I think that fashion line was really known for like almost like kind of dowdy suits almost that like maybe the queen would wear or something.
Yeah, when Coco was in charge, the black suit was a big.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was, super famous, and his runway shows were like the thing for everyone to go to, and his professional life was really big, but his personal life he kept it pretty secretive. He did have an 18-year relationship with someone named Jacques de Brashear. Brashear died of AIDS in 1989. Pearl says that him and this man, even though they were together for like 18 years, he says that they were never like physically together, even though they were together. Again, take whatever he says with a giant grain of salt. But he obviously cared about him very much. And like when he was in the hospital, like Karl stayed there in a cot by his bedside until, which is, really, really sad. And AIDS was no fucking joke in the 80s. It was watched and the band played on that shit. Mm-hmm. It was like a plague. It was awful. After that, Karl always lived alone. He had an apartment in the left bank. It was just filled with books and clothes. And then he had his cat, which I believe you pronounce Choupette. And adorable cat. Adorable. Again,
white, fluffy?
Looks like Sarah.
Yeah, my sweet Sarah.
Like sweet Sarah.
R.I.P.
Yes. Yeah, you could still go to her Instagram. Very cute cat. And he spoiled this cat. Like, she had a maid. Hello, she wore diamond necklaces. Like, apparently he stole her from like another person who, like, a friend was like, hey, will you watch my cat for me? And then they didn't. He just never gave me the cat back.
Your cat died.
Yeah, he sells my cat now.
No, wasn't that a Melrose Place? Like somebody like stole someone's cat, and it was like Kimberly. It was like your cat died.
Probably.
Y'all let me know. Yeah.
Yeah. But, so he's very sweet to his cat, and we love it when people are good to their pets, but he's still a creep. So let's get into it. I've got a nice list here for us. He's pretty racist. One time he put Claudia Schiffer in blackface for a photo shoot. He did it again where he put her in yellow face.
Oh, great.
He doesn't care, if you're like, I'm offended. He's like, don't care. He also, when Germany was taking in Muslim refugees, like he said that was an affront to Holocaust victims. Okay.
Whatever.
Like, yeah, fuck off. He was very fatphobic. Very.
Didn't he get fat for a while? Wasn't he?
Yeah. So he put on weight, and then he actually, and apparently he struggled with like food and weight his whole life.
He's in the fashion industry too. That's not.
Yeah, he lost like 100 pounds in 1 year, and then he wrote a book called the Karl Lagerfeld Diet.
What is it? Broth?
Yeah, it's just
Air?
like
Cigarettes?
it's just page after page of don't eat, don't eat, don't eat, don't eat. Like,
Nine
in different fonts. Like, I don't know. He loathed people who were overweight. Like, he said that anorexia is not as dangerous as junk food or television, that fashion was a healthy motivation to lose weight. He once said that no one wants to see curvy women. And he said, you've got fat mothers with their bags of chips sitting in front of the television saying that thin models are ugly. When asked about Chanel's responsibility to represent real people, he said that that's a bore and it's ridiculous to do so. Ridiculous.
He's committed to being a shithead. I kind of admire the game.
Yeah. He once said about Adele, she's a little too fat. He once said, Heidi Klum, this is a quote, is no runway model. She is simply too heavy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that fatso.
Yeah, and she always grins so stupidly. This is not avant-garde. That is commercial. And he said that she was insignificant in the world of high fashion.
She makes a shitload of money, y'all.
Yeah.
Whatever
Bitch,
talent she has.
please.
Yeah, she's booked and busy.
Yeah. He also had some shitty thoughts about Pippa Middleton. He was like, Kate Middleton has a nice silhouette. I like that kind of woman. I like romantic beauties. On the other hand, her sister struggles. I don't like her face. They should only show her back.
Oh my God. And she's adorable, by the way. She's super cute.
Yes, he's such a dick. He's also misogynistic. When asked about Princess Diana, he said she was pretty and she was sweet, but she was stupid.
Oh, what an asshole.
What a dick. He said that Coco Chanel wasn't ugly enough to be a feminist. That's right, ladies.
That's old school, man.
Yeah. Only ugly ladies are feminists.
It's like an Archie Bunker joke, yeah.
Yes. He also, like, one time he did a whole fashion show just making fun of feminism. And this was in 2014. It's not like he was doing this shit in the 70s. And it was like with these like fake like protest signs. It was like free freedom and boys should get pregnant too. Like, and all kinds of models participated too. But I guess you do what you do.
There's a lot. Okay. There's a lot of, I read the Paulina Porzheskova book. She was a big supermodel in the 80s. She's married to Rick Ocasek. And there's a lot of misogyny just in modeling in and of itself. And you just sort of absorb it so much. And a lot of them are so young when they start that they don't even realize until much later. I know they're grown-ups for sure. Sometimes a lot of them are really like only 16, 17. But
it's
anyway.
The same with child actors.
Right.
They grow up with it.
They grow up with it. So, I mean... Yeah, I would love for them to slap him in the head with one of those signs when they're done, but
yeah,
he's the one with the power.
Yes, exactly, and it will surprise no one to hear that he was very shitty about the Me Too movement, and he would say, "I'm fed up with it."
Oh, you tired?
He said, "It's unbelievable. If you don't want your pants pulled about, don't become a model. Join a nunnery."
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
Yes.
Where would he be without the models, by the way?
Right? And then he went on to say, like, you know, he's shocked that, and he referred to the actresses as starlets. So he's like, I'm shocked that these starlets took 20 years to remember what happened. You know, like trauma isn't a thing, or, you know, the fear of retaliation for speaking up.
I mean,
like,
what happened this week? Harvey Weinstein's conviction was overturned for stupid fucking reasons.
Yes, like too many women testify what a creep he is.
I've seen enough Law and Order. I know that is a strategy you're allowed to use in court, but apparently,
could you imagine? Sorry, too many women testified
that you're rapey.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Why don't women come forward, Sonia?
Why don't they speak up sooner?
Why?
Any model who came forward, he described them as stupid, toxic, sordid creatures. Like, what an asshole.
Yeah.
one time this man, his name is Dominique Strauss-Kahn, and he was from the like International Monetary Fund, like I don't know, some like German bank or whatever. He was accused of sexually assaulting a maid in a hotel.
Oh, in New York.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and when he like flew back to his like homeland, Carl sent him flowers. Sent him flowers and said, he's really charming. He's fun. He's great. He's a sweet guy as long as you're not a woman.
Yeah, we're just half the population, dipshit.
Yeah. And also, he's kind of a snobby asshole. Like, you know, on top of, first of all, he's a gay man who, while supporting same-sex marriage, said he was, quote, less keen on same-sex couples being allowed to adopt. Like, just because you don't want kids.
Right.
By the way, he said, I hate all children. And I was like, look, that's fine. Lots of people don't like kids.
That's
but he's
not
like,
that's not a deal breaker for me.
Yeah. He also said that, like, you know, he loathed short men. And I'm like, okay, again, I'm like, some people, it's just not your type. But he's, you know, and he found people socializing with people boring, pretentious, and vulgar. And I was like, sometimes clock is right twice a day.
Was he tall?
You know what? I don't know if he was tall. You know what? He was kind of tall because there's pictures of him next to the models, and
he's right up there.
Yeah, exactly. He also was just like, you know, your typical snob, like sweatpants are a sign of defeat. You know, you've lost control of your life if you wear sweatpants. And I'm like, well, are you wearing them to a nice restaurant?
Right.
Or are you in your house?
Am I working from home? Like, what's the difference?
Yeah. So our man Carl died February 19th. Oh, shit. I didn't write down what year it was. It was just a couple years ago. Did I write it at the beginning? I can't believe I didn't write the year.
Alexa, when did Karl Lagerfeld die?
Karl Lagerfeld died on February 19th, 2019 at the age of
2019.
85. Okay.
There you go.
85 years.
Yes, he was 85 years old. I could have done the math, but who knows what year he was actually born.
I couldn't do the math, so.
Yeah. And he just got cremated, and they mixed his ashes with like his mother's and his late partner, and they scattered him somewhere, and it was all very private. And if you're wondering about his cat, he left a ton of money to the cat. And the cat is like living it up, like with has a nanny. It's their former housekeeper that was like with the cat since he stole the cat. So the cat is fine. The cat lives in Paris.
I wouldn't mind that gig, to be honest with you.
I know. And last year actually appeared in Vogue, like in a picture with like Naomi Campbell, and like the cat's fine. So we just, so you know. There was like a big 90-minute tribute to him in Paris, and like all these guests showed up, and it was like Tilda Swinton and Helen Mirren and all that. Again, remember, this guy listen to all these shitty things he said. And they're like, that's fine. That's fine.
Oh, that old so-and-so. He's
what a scoundrel. What a scamp. You know, they also, like, a bunch of designers launched something called the White Shirt Project, because he was very like, the white shirt is the staple of fashion.
I hate white shirts.
I stain them, so I don't.
Yeah, I can't.
White shirts.
I feel so uncomfortable in them. The buttons and all that crap. Mm-mm.
Yeah, so a bunch of different designers like designed these fancy white shirts that sold for like hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and then they took all the proceeds and donated it to medical research, which I was like, well, at least they did something nice under this creep's name.
I thought you were gonna say they were gonna donate it to the cat.
Then I would buy one. And then more recently, so last year they had this Met Gala event. And, you know, the Met Gala is like fancy. It's for like all the rich, beautiful people to like show off, basically.
Swan about.
Yeah, look, I don't really care about the Met Gala, but I do know in 2023 Met Gala, Pedro Pascal looked amazing. He wore like a red Valentino.
When doesn't he look amazing?
I know. He was wearing like black shorts with a red coat and red shirt and the black tie. So fine. But, I don't know. Seems like maybe there's a lot of other designers who aren't fat shaming bigots that they could have honored, but that's cool. The Model Alliance, which is an organization that advocates for fashion workers' rights and safety, they actually protested the Met Gala, and because he's, they said it's a choice to honor Lagerfeld, is what they said, and talked about how fashion is trying to be all about body positivity and supporting survivors and all this, but then at the same time they will support.
Well, yeah, and then also when something like Ozempic comes along, people are immediate, and I'm not shaming that, but it's also all you have to do is take a shot, so that's all been taken care of, and it doesn't work for everybody. It's not the choice for everybody, and all kinds of. I know it's
yeah.
We talk about this shit all the time.
We do. I think we've talked about it in a. Actually, I wrote a newsletter about it, and then we've talked about it in bonus episodes before, about all the stuff that goes on with Ozempic and weight loss drugs. But anyway, that is our creep, Karl Lagerfeld.
Well, good job, Sonia. I remember him because I used to work in magazines, so I had there used to be fashion television, and then there was a CNN show, there was an Elsa Clench, and then there was Jean, what's her face, from Canada. But the editors would go to the shows, and then you tried to get your editor in front of the camera. And the Byzantine system of getting I only want to do if it's Dolce & Gabbana. Well, I will only take your editor-in-chief. Well, then she has to do this. Anyway, him and that cat, and he was always fanning himself. He was a character. He was a true character. And I mean, if he were just quirky and weird, I don't give a shit.
I wouldn't care at all.
Leave your money to your pets,
He's not the only one, by the way. Lots of people do this.
Yeah, we get attached to our pets, and we want to make sure they're okay when we're gone. I mean, that is a concern, absolutely. But the fat shame, and
not supporting the Me Too movement, making fun of survivors.
Yeah,
the fat shaming,
and there's a lot of men that are survivors of it too, of sexual assault, and they're in the fashion industry too.
Exactly.
We talked just about shitty. That. Yeah.
Just such privilege. What a creep.
All right, Sonia. Creep. So because of all the things that are happening in the world, I was like, who am I going to pick for a non-creep? Who in fashion is not a creep? And it's kind of slim pickings.
Valid.
But then I checked Twitter today, and it was trending, the name, and hopefully we haven't covered this before. We've been doing the show for a while now.
I really don't think we've talked about her before.
Thank God. Because who is it, Sonia? It is Carol Creighton Burnett. And today is her 91st birthday. Yay!
Yay!
This woman is a goddamn icon. She had a variety show when I was a kid, and it was such a great show because it was very wacky. Harvey Korman, Tim Conway, Vicki Lawrence. Vicki Lawrence got the gig because she was in high school and she won a contest who looks the most like Carol Burnett. And so she wrote Carol Burnett and sent a picture. And Carol Burnett says, next time on your lake, come by. I'll interview, I'll talk to you, because she wanted to be in show business. And she put her on the show.
Amazing. Never
a bad word about her by anybody. She's from San Antonio, but she was raised in LA. She went to Hollywood High. She is an actress. She's an advocate. She's a comedian. She's a writer. She can sing. I was looking at clips today of her singing with Cher. We were also talking off the air about variety shows of the 70s and 80s, and just the talent people had to have to do everything. Which is
so funny.
But at her core, she's super funny. What is the show I'm thinking of right now, Sonia? That's on Palm Royale. That's on Apple Plus. She's also been The Four Seasons, which is a show, by the way, that Tina Fey. It's a movie. I believe it's Neil Simon, and Tina Fey is going to make a Netflix series out of it. And it's a really good movie. She was in Friendly Fire, which is a really intense movie. And she was in Mad About You, Moon Over Buffalo, Better Call Saul. she's been in everything. She's had Grammy nominations. She's just incredible. Sadly, she's been married a few times. Not doing great in the romance department. Same girl.
Same girl.
Same. Also, her daughter Carrie died like 15 years ago. There was a big thing in the 70s where her daughter was she was addicted to drugs, and it was like the late 70s, and it was like on the cover of People magazine. I've been reading People magazine since I could read, basically. So I have that cover really straight in my head. She got through it, and then she became an actress, and then sadly she died pneumonia as a complication from lung and brain cancer. She was 38.
Cancer.
Yeah, fuck cancer, man. Her other daughters are good. Jodie Hamilton, Erin Hamilton. They're singers. They're actresses. She's just like a really lovely, kind person. She donates to she's philanthropic. She's also, like I said, Vicki Lawrence, like she's so good with her fans and with people. The whole thing with the Carol Burnett show was, this is another thing we were talking about, like when you were with these variety shows, like you had to be a good host. You can do singing and dancing and do skits and stuff like that, but to be on a stage with like a microphone coming from the ceiling and just talking to people in an audience and just seeming so relaxed and not, you know what I mean? That's talent, y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, and she just relates to people so closely and in such a personal way.
Yeah.
That she really connects with people. She used to take questions from the audience. She had a thing like she would pull her ear, that was her signal. And she'd also do a Tarzan yell if you asked her.
Yes.
And she had some really good Tarzan yells. She's just a nice person, super talented, just brought laughter to people. And the sketches where like Harvey Korman and Tim Conway like make each other laugh is great character.
Go on YouTube and look up some of her routine. There's a super famous one where they're making fun of Gone with the Wind. That is so funny. Yeah, the curtain rod.
The curtain rod and the curtain.
It's so funny. Like she also, these variety shows, I don't think a lot of them were hosted by women, and right? They might be co-hosted.
Well, actually, I think it was pretty women friendly, but for her,
well, that's good.
But I think it's like 70 when she started, 1970. Like there weren't a lot of women then, for sure.
Yeah,
like she is definitely right, because she is somebody who I think she became so successful that then they were like, okay, Cher, you can have a show. Okay, Tony Tennille.
Yes.
Okay, Marie Osmond. Like,
yes.
But like you said, a lot of them are in pairings. But
yeah, anyone who wants to say,
so you're right. I'm sorry. I'm shutting up.
Yo, no, you don't need to shut up. Not ever.
We don't rehearse this part in case you can't tell.
No, you don't ever need to shut up. But when people are like, women aren't funny, like, bitch, watch some Carol Burnett. Like, she's so funny.
Yeah, she's the best. And she's somebody that like comedians, she's a comedian's comedian, right? Like they just worship her. But like I said, she can also act, she can sing, she could dance. I mean, she just does a little bit of everything, and
I can't do any of those things.
No, I'm the person, I've said, like, I go to musicals and I cry my eyes out. The dumbest musical, I'll just like sit there weeping because I'm so impressed with the talent, just like they can do everything. Like it just really fills my heart with joy. And she's just such a kind person on top of that. And she's still with us, and let's just remember that and just appreciate her while she's here.
Yeah, let her know. Let her know that you appreciate. Yes. Don't wait.
So that's our non-creep, Carol Burnett.
Good pick, my friend.
All right, that's the show today. It's a quickie bit of, a goodie bit of quickie, or quickie goodie, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
If you like the sound of our voices, we co-host a podcast called Dorking Out, where we dork out about movies. What are we currently dorking out about this week?
The Jerk.
The Jerk, Steve Martin. Yeah, we're warm for his form.
For you.
What are we talking about next, Sonia?
Oh, I can't wait. We're going to talk about the talented Mr. Ripley. Both of us have watched the mini-series, or the, I guess, limited series. I don't know if it's going to be a series.
It's called Limited Series.
Yes, and it's on Netflix, and it was really, really good. And obviously, we got to watch the movie now. We have to.
It's 1999's The Talented Mr. Ripley, and it's available for streaming everywhere. All those places I mentioned at the top of the show, if you want to send us your suggestions for creeps and or non-creeps. We love it when you use the Annie Potts GIF. We got one from Ghostbusters, but you could be clever, just send us an email. whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com. And Sonia, where can they find you?
You can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok. Not really the Facebook. I only go there for the What a Creep group. So you can always find me in the What a Creep group. How about you, my friend?
You could find me Brooklyn Fit Chick. That's my site. That's where I am for Instagram and Threads. And then I'm at Brooklyn Margot for Twitter and also for the TikTok, as long as that exists. Is it still existing? I don't know.
Yeah,
I hope
for
so.
a couple more months anyway.
Right.
Try that shit from my cold, dead hands.
All right, everybody. In the meantime, thank you for listening. Please subscribe. That way you'll never miss an episode. Be nice. Be kind. Don't be a creep.
Be a creep. Thank you for listening to us talk about creeps. You can follow us at What a Creep Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
But don't follow us too closely.
You can email us your creepy stories at whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com.
But please keep your dick pics to yourself.